Greetings, my friends. Thank you for being here. Welcome. We're going to get started in just a moment. This is a really exciting time in the Life Force Academy, and I just want to let you know what's on the horizon here. We are in Eclipse season in the Life Force Academy. The classes each week are themed around this really important and transformative time. It's a great time to be uplifting your life, building your vitality, making your mind operate in its intuitive clarity, having your heart connected to the purposefulness of what our life is about. We have Maui in May, then we have LIB later in May, but then in early June we have the Life Force Academy Immersion. That's going to be broadcasted all over the world, but also, as of now, there is still spots available for you to be there in person. In my opinion, this is the coolest event, the most transformative event, the most uplifting thing, most inspiring thing that we do each and every year is the early June immersion, Life Force Academy Immersion. The entire Simrit band will be there. It is my favorite event of the year. I want to invite you to be a part of it, whether you're there in person. There's still a few spots available right now, or if you're attending it from wherever you are, the virtual experience of this immersion delivers. It's powerful, the music's on point, the video is beautiful. I want to invite you to be there. Coming up in July, the Life Force Academy Kundalini Yoga Teacher Training. Enjoy the class, everyone. Welcome to the event. We're really happy that you're here. We're about to go live in just a few moments, but before we lift off, there's a few important things we want to make sure that you're aware of so you get the best possible experience out of this. First of all, the sound current is supremely important to us, the musical experience. So if possible, we really encourage you to use good speakers or headphones to experience the class with. Second, if you have any pre-existing injuries, please take care of yourself, modify as you need to. Don't risk exacerbating an injury because of a yoga exercise. If you have any pre-existing medical conditions and you're not quite sure if this would be good for you, please consult with your primary healthcare practitioner and make sure it's the right thing for you. Also, make yourself relatively comfortable. You can use a cushion, and in fact we encourage you in our seated positions, meditation practices, to use a cushion. It helps lift the heart up, keep the spine straight, and it's more ideal for the flow of energy in the body and for the meditation experience. You can even be sitting in a chair with feet flat on the floor for those of you that are unable to sit in a meditative sitting posture on the floor. Just use a chair, and for many of the exercises that will work perfectly fine. And then lastly, if you're having any problems with the video streaming, try refreshing the page, or if you see a gear icon on the video, adjust your resolution. If you're new to this type of thing, just take care of yourself. If there's something that you don't quite understand, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Everything that needs to click will click after a few times of trying it out. Enjoy the experience. We're about to get started in just a moment. Welcome everybody. Everybody has some water. Happy eclipse time. It always feels a little funny to say happy eclipse time, but I think you can get there. I do think you can. And the reason why I think it's so funny, because mostly eclipses are not really considered like, let's celebrate, because they often bring about some challenging energies with them. However, they're not negative and they're not bad. All things that are part of nature have both good qualities and bad qualities to them. And what I think is
useful. I was thinking about this earlier because the great basketball coach Greg Popovich, he used this term that I like called appropriate fear. And that's how he's coaching his team to, like, if they're going into some game and there's a certain like type of supreme confidence you try to develop, but it's not an egotistical confidence that causes you to be delusional about reality. So there's a way to have a genuine positivity about difficult things without it being necessarily delusional, because you can tap into something a little deeper, and that's what eclipses are so excellent for, tapping into something a little deeper. And they bring unsettled, challenging energy because they bring transformational energy. And anytime transformation is taking place, well, not anytime, but oftentimes when transformation is taking place, it is accompanied by suffering and pain and difficulties and challenges, but not always. Sometimes it's accompanied by great joy and great prosperity. Both. It can go both. But the types of transformation normally that we think about in this case are the ones that bring up some difficult nature. All transformation in one way or another brings up difficult nature, because even if you're having great pleasures in life, then eventually those pleasures are followed by grief. A child is born, a person passes away. It's just the two sides of nature. So that's what we mean by when we say everything in nature has both sides. It has both polarities. So when an eclipse comes, it's kind of having a very interesting, fascinating effect on the polarities of life, and that because we ourselves are magnetic fields. The human body, the human mind, its chi, its prana, is a type of magnetism. Everything has an electromagnetic field. And so depending on the circumstances, the environment of this kind of life force environment of the human organism, the body, the mind, the emotions, the feelings, the aspirations, the sense of purpose, the despair, the depression, the anxiety, all of this is part of the life force environment, the chi, the prana. And that chi, life force, intelligence, I always think it's life force, it's love intelligence, because it's also the prana that's kind of generating the organism in the first place, life force. It's what is it that creates a baby in a mother's womb? You know, I bet Elon Musk can't figure out how to do that. You see what I mean? That's something else. Maybe they can, who knows? But I don't really care. What I know is there's definitely a supreme intelligence underneath all of it, at the nucleus of all things. And people all around the world call it different names, refer to it in different ways, but nobody has a monopoly on it, what it's called, because what it actually is something totally mysterious, beyond the rational thought, beyond the experience of life's polarities. So when our endeavor in life is to also be more and more attuned with whatever that is, the kind of intelligence that gives us life, and to be about life, to be about creativity, to be about helping one another, to be about increasing the joy in our life. Because there's all sorts of narratives you could take on around the eclipse, and you can be realistic about anyone you choose. You could say, for instance, in general right now, you could say, it's an excellent time. It's the most excellent time to be alive. It's a marvelous time to be alive. It's a wonderful time to be alive. And you could be right. And then you could say it's a horrible time to be alive. And you can make a case for it. There's climate disasters, da-da-da-da-da-da. But if you have any debating skills at all, you could make a good case for why it's a marvelous time to be alive. And you could make a good case for why it's the most horrible time to be alive. This is the narratives of the mind. And what yoga is interested in is paying attention to the narratives of the mind and working with the narratives of the mind, slowly but surely, working with the narratives of the mind so that we're producing narratives that aid in our health and our happiness. Because all of us have some narratives that are already doing that, aiding in our health and our happiness. We have narratives in our mind that have to do with how we love one another, and how actually we do love ourselves, and actually how we do love being alive. We all have that inside for sure. Maybe those have gotten way too quiet. And then we also have ones that are maybe causing us more dis-ease, lack of ease. And all of that's true. And so we may be thinking kind of lousy about ourselves, or we feel lousy about life. And that's very real. There's all sorts of reasons why it's totally reasonable to feel lousy about life at times. And sometimes those kind of lousy feelings can take a hold of us when they're too strong and there's too much of them all at once. And what can we do? You know, we're just trying our best to live a happy life, but sometimes tragedy strikes, doesn't it? Or sometimes it's just kind of what I think of often as kind of lackluster living, where there's nothing particularly horrible that you can point to, and there's nothing particularly grand that you can point to, and somehow there's just a kind of dissatisfaction that's overcome the organism. So what Ayurveda and yoga is really designed to do is to give the organism inner satisfaction. And so you feed it. You feed it with the vitality of prana, of life force, and good nutrition. That's why we separate yoga and Ayurveda only really to learn about them, but they're the same thing. Jyotish, the science of the cosmic rhythm, the stars, the planets, the sky. Ayurveda, the understanding of the architecture of the human organism. And yoga, the way to work with this thing so that it is helping to be able to produce all the things that all of us naturally desire. We all naturally desire to live. We all naturally desire to know what is true and real. And we all naturally desire to have experience of love. That's how the yogis describe the three kind of innate desires of the human being. The desire that comes from prana, life force, the desire to live. And on the more subtle level, that's the desire to live forever, to be immortal, to never have to die. So all of us want somehow deep down to continue on. And then in the center you have, that comes from tejas, fire element. And that's the desire to know. That's the wish to know. We all want to know truth. We don't want to have to worry about what is real and what is not real, but that is a worry. And nowadays it's quite the worry on all the kind, even the surface level of life, because with artificial intelligence now, nobody quite knows what is real in the online world. So that's going to be very interesting over the next several years to see how that affects the collective human psyche and each of us. Maybe it will help us have more discernment. You know, maybe who knows what's going to happen. But I believe in the wisdom of people, and so I think when we're we have a certain, or at least we endeavor to have a certain type of ownership of innate intelligence, innate love, and innate creativity. Those are those three desires: prana, tejas, and ojas. Ojas gives you the desire to experience love, because that's what ojas is love. At the most subtle level, they call it Satchit Ananda, and so it's bliss. Because the types of love that come with romance is love, definitely, but it's love that waxes and wanes like the moon. Sometimes it gets eclipsed, and all sorts of things. So really, that's a great type of love. It's one of the wonderful parts of being a human being. But it's not going to, romantic love isn't going to sustain us that far. Only so much. And so, therefore, what the yogi is endeavoring to do, and what Ayurveda does using herbs, foods, and etc., and what yoga practice does. And I always think Ayurveda gives you the art and the science of how to build the vital organism. And then yoga teaches you how to use the vitality of that organism to turn it into blissfulness. And the two of them together is really what makes it all work. So it's not just, Ayurveda is not just food and diet and herbs. Ayurveda literally means the wisdom of life. It describes the architecture of the physical and the mental and the subtle human. And it gives you kind of ideas on how to be in harmony with one's own nature, and so that we can blossom, and so that we can shine. That's what happens, isn't it, when we really are having a more deep experience of what we are? And it's visceral, it's experiential, it's not philosophical. It doesn't come just from beautiful quotes. Beautiful quotes can give us clues. But at the end of the day, somehow we want that to come alive, to be our personal experience. We want to be happy. We want to live and be creative. That's where our sense of purpose is drawn out of, our creativity. It's the best. And we want to have wisdom, and that's our intuition. It's what we feel as like a knowing of the heart, not of the head. And then we want to have a supreme love. We want to have a love that doesn't wax and wane when things come or when things go, when things come together and then things fall apart. So in the realm of nature, that's how it's always happening. Things come together and things fall apart. So all the things that are operating within the realms of nature will follow that. The tide comes in, the tide goes out. But what makes life often very difficult is the mind grasping onto those either expansions or contractions of nature. Because what is our natural wish and natural desire is to be happy, is to experience love. So out of that natural wish, sometimes the mind will grasp onto things that are pleasurable and will push away things that are painful. What yoga practice is helping us do is to modify the tendency of the mind to do that. Because when the mind, to whatever extent my emotional mind grasps on to the pleasures when they come my way, to that extent, when those pains come, to that extent is the extent I will suffer because of it. So it's no big deal. It's not like some punishment. It's just physics. You see? It's just, yoga need not be religious. It takes all sorts of expressions and absolutely is applicable to any sort of religious or spiritual path. But in and of itself, it can simply be understand the physics of the mind, understand how to work with the life force of the organism, understand the architecture of the psyche, but not just in a philosophical way, in an experiential way as well. That's what we want to do tonight. And so when you have a moment like an eclipse time, you get this moment that sometimes it's like makes things kind of wonky, and like people generally are unsettled. But it's subtle enough that if you're not paying attention, you won't necessarily notice it. Because after all, we feel wonky not just when eclipses come. We feel weird and agitated and a little bit off all the time. Yeah, who knows what? I went home to kind of reset to come over here today, and I got super agitated when I went home. Do you know why? Because I left this grocery bag on the floor, and it had a bag of nutritional yeast in it. And I walked out, and I had taken a shower, and I walked out, and I was like, why does everything smell like nutritional yeast? My dog had gotten into that bag of nutritional yeast. I walked in, and the whole kitchen floor was covered in nutritional yeast. This is my eclipse experience. So I was agitated. So the whole beauty of what Ayurveda helps us do is to understand agitation as well. And to know, I know the vata comes up. And here's here's what we're going to be doing tonight. It's the most practical. It's using these exercises to take what we call in Ayurveda the vata energy. That's the energy of motion and mobility. It's what gives us kind of whirring energy. It's what makes us feel a little not clear and a little confused, and maybe sometimes we're listening. So because during eclipse you have what this is eclipse, it's a Rahu experience. It's the north node of the moon. And so whenever Rahu is involved, in this case with the sun, Your sun is your sense of what you are, your sense of identity. And here comes Rahu like a blowing wind, a disembodied head that loves to party. Mythologically, this is Rahu. It doesn't mean it makes you want to party right now, but it's just that kind of energy. It's not a serene energy. It's an energy that's wanting to experience life, but it tends to create what we call vata. Now, if you can harness that Rahu energy, it can be very powerful and wonderful. It's innovative. It may help you evolve. So wherever like Rahu, that north node is placed in someone's natal horoscope, that will show the area, domain of life where they'll tend to be a little bit more obsessive. Because Rahu is there. It's not a bad thing. That's because where there's so much of the karmas of our life, of this lifetime, are in that domain. So if you have Rahu in the 7th house, a house of relationships, then that will cause that person's psyche to have a tendency towards being very concerned about that area of life. They need to be concerned. They will be concerned. It's not even a choice. That's the karmas. The horoscope just shows the nature of the person's karmas. And so there's a healthy expression of that, and there's an unhealthy expression of that. The reality is we're going to experience both. And when we're younger in particular, you might experience the more obsessive type of things. And as we hopefully develop a little bit more wisdom over life, you even without knowing your charts or anything like that, it starts to refine. It starts to, oh, okay, why? Trial and error. We grasped onto that tightly. Anyone ever done that? You grasp onto something tightly and then you're not thinking of it that way. It's just, if this is what it must be, it feels so good. And then one day it's like, nope, nope. And you pull it. It doesn't go away so easy. You see what I mean? That's natural as human beings. And then we feel like so much pain and suffering because of it, though. But out of that whole process of all of this, what is actually happening? What actually is happening is hopefully deeper and deeper experiences of love. That's the beauty of the whole thing. But that is first by taking the kind of disposition that at the center of this thing is intelligence, love, wisdom, at the center of life. That's the tantric perspective. Is that the whole creation is just something that has opened you up to a experience of love that doesn't wax and wane. And it will show you all the ways. Isn't that a beautiful way of seeing things? So it's not so much about this is how it is or this is how it isn't. It's about experiencing what life is all about, underneath all of the fluctuations of things. So, and that can only happen through our own personal experience and going through, because whatever the trials of our life are right now, you want to see where the direction to go is what's right in front of you. What's giving you the most problems and the most inspiration? There's some things in life that are giving us, but they need to be dealt with, because if they're not dealt with, they're going to get worse, aren't they? There's something to pay attention to. Okay, and then what's fueling creativity, inspiration? There's something also to pay attention to. Sometimes we have to search for that one a little harder because it's more subtle than the things that need our responsibility, things that are asking for our attention in a more like, I don't want to do it. Like the archetype is the IRS. Nobody wants to deal with it, but if you don't deal with it, what's going to happen? It's going to get worse. I've tried it. It gets worse and worse and worse. So that's a Saturn aspect of things. And Saturn is putting his glance right on top of this eclipse, so all of us are feeling it. It's happening in the part of the sky called Ashwini, which is very fast energy. And so anyhow, we're going to do these exercises. And the main point is this. When these moments are happening, Vata is high. Vata is life force prana in its more non-rhythmic, erratic form, expression. So in Ayurveda, it's considered king of all disease. There's 3 of them, right? Vata, Pitta, Kapha. It's the 5 elements. air, ether, vata, earth, water, kapha, fire, pitta. You don't need to remember any of this, just giving a little context for what we're doing tonight. So when your life force chi prana is moving in a rhythmic fashion and it's well concentrated in the central nervous system, it will flow in a rhythmic fashion and it will create vitality and it will give satisfaction to the body and the mind. So when that life force chi is non-rhythmic and it's more dilute in the periphery of the nervous system, say it has to be, because to do all those responsibilities of our life, it's asking for our prana. So we have to call the the IRS. We have to take the kids to school. We have to do the dishes. So our life force, our prana, prana goes where attention flows. Prana flows where the attention goes. And so your dishes need some prana. You know, the body, showering, all our different relationships need some prana. This is why we say vata is the main thing. Because if we're not doing something on a regular basis to make sure the prana first and foremost is well centered in the nervous system, then life will overtake it and vata will rule the day. And instead of being in more of a space of kind of prayerful joy, and I don't mean that in a religious sense, prayerful I mean in a sort of praise, like you're grateful to be alive. It's every day is precious. That's what I mean by that. A praising type of, a gratitude type of joy that you live through, because that's the life force environment that's been cultivated. That'll naturally happen. Concentrate the life force in the central nervous system and then aspire to it. But what happens, because all these dimensions of our life, which you can see all through the zodiac, the different domains of the life, all the 12 houses. Prana has to get to a little bit to all of them, where you have focal placements that needs even more of your prana in order to experience what the dharma of your life is, the real true purposefulness of your life. That feeling will bring you joy. That feeling will bring you a happiness that doesn't wax and wane as much because there's something else going on that has more substance than all those other things. But all those other things will gain substance because of our connection to that. And furthermore, then the relationship will act as a catalyst to also draw out that more infinite style of love. The work life will become a catalyst that will also cause us to experience more deeply that supreme type of love and happiness. Something else, that comes through it. You'll see that in a person, the glow of their eyes, the warmth of their smile, the vibe of their presence. It's non-intellectual, it's not punditry. Yeah, it's love. And punditry might help us. It's not anything about that, but that's not what this is. So that's what we're cultivating, and how we do that is simple. All this vata energy, that's why eclipses are powerful, because it brings up all that energy. And so if you can actually harness that energy a little bit, then it becomes a powerful force that helps you to open up into that more transcendent space, the space of mystics, far more easily than in times when there's not an eclipse, for instance. Make sense? So let's do this all together. I think we're going to have fun. If you're new to this, well, first of all, everybody, thank you for being here. If you're new to this, don't worry if there's some things you don't understand. No big deal. We have so many great courses, so much in our Life Force Academy membership. It'll teach you, if you resonate with it and it feels great to you and you want to keep going, we have lots of ways to do that are easy, accessible, affordable, and fun. So for tonight, the point is to let's just go on a journey together. Let's have an experience, and then let's see how we feel on the other side. Take your hands into the prayer pose, make a little heat. Inhale deep. Exhale. Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Come on the hands and knees. You're going to inhale, the head is coming up. Exhale, the head is coming down. Nice smooth rhythm. The eclipse is now just starting. In about a half hour. So this is a most excellent time to not worry about a thing and to listen and feel your breath and use this time to love on yourself and to revitalize your body and mind, your nervous system, and to give some nourishment to your feeling of vitality. Ayurveda, rasa, rasayana, nourishing the juices of your body, juices of creativity, blood circulation, lymphatic circulation. Deeper the breathing, please, and make a nice, it's not about your speed, it's not even about the stretch, it's more about the creating a suppleness of our spine and creating a nice rhythm for yourself. Deeper the breath, please. You know, over 80% of our immune system is in the lymphatic system. And the lymph doesn't have a pump like the circulatory system has a pumping heart. Your lymph only moves if you make it move, through exercise, and most importantly, through deep breathing. Just 20 seconds left. Creating a nice kind of circulation of the cerebrospinal fluid so that our brains can stay healthy, our nervous system can stay healthy. Keeping the system juicy. No matter what age we are, we can always find a way to be juicy. A little bit more. And inhale, the head is up. And exhale, the head is down. That's fantastic. And just for a few moments, relax on your child's pose. Like butt back to the heels, and then the forehead to the floor. And then let the arms be by your sides, palms facing up. Beautiful. And see if you relax your jaw, relax your tongue. Those of you at home, if you're not able to come into this posture, just relax in whatever posture you're in. Close your eyes. And please, everyone, if we can endeavor to feel the earth below. Feel the weight of gravity kind of drawing you into her. And please, if we could relax into that, relax your jaw, relax your tongue, relax the brain, relax the mind, the shoulders, relax your fingers, the palms. Just let the breath flow naturally, just for a moment. It's not relaxing forever, it's relaxed for this moment. And then you're gonna come up sitting against, again, an easy pose. And those of you at home on a chair, you can do most of these tonight on a chair. Okay? Gyan Mudra, the index finger to your thumb. That's a Jupiter seal. The other significant thing that's happening right now is Jupiter's changing signs. It only happens once a year, and it happens like tomorrow, right in this eclipse field. So that's very interesting. And furthermore, he's changing from a water sign Pisces into the fire sign Aries, and that's called Gandanta. Also another one of these things in astrology considered quite difficult, but also very powerful. They're karmic knots. So when things are moving through those Gandanta points, transformations taking place, brings difficulties. But at the end of the day, we all want transformation. We're trying to be more and more like a butterfly, aren't we? Less like a worm. You know, a caterpillar is a little bit like a worm creature. You see? And it has a different metabolism than a butterfly, a creature with colors and flying wings. Different metabolism, slow metabolism of a kind of. Caterpillars are beautiful, but they're more like a worm. But then we see a butterfly. It's like, wow, look at that butterfly. Here it's flower season, and so there's butterflies all over the place and flowers, and there's a joy that fills the air when they're around, isn't it? Index finger, Jupiter, into the thumb. And like this, inhale through your nose, then through the nose. Listen to the rhythm. Now through your nose, inhale deep. Suspend the breath. And then exhale through your nose. Just give it a try. Inhale deep. Then inhale deep. Exhale. This time's a little different. What you're going to do is inhale through the nose. Then the tongue comes out like this. The power comes from the diaphragm. Put your diaphragm in the rhythm, but stretch your tongue out. Chest out, eyes closed, shoulders release. Ayurveda says the lungs, the storehouse of sorrow, melancholy, kapha. It's just opening up, lightness of being. But most important thing here, rhythm. Now keep going. Now through your nose, deep inhale. And press the underside of the tongue against the roof of your mouth as you lift through your perineum, rectum, sex organ area. And then your navel point up and in. And then relax, exhale. That's a very excellent pranayama. When people around you are sick, like colds and stuff are happening, or you feel a little vulnerable, Stretch the undercord of your tongue. At any moment, if any of this is like, oh, I'm getting too spacey, just relax. Let the breath flow naturally. Kind of just listen and feel your breath without worry. And the energy will just kind of settle and recalibrate. But the most important part of all of these exercises is the very last part. Inhale deep. Suspend the breath. Let's keep the breath in, but then relax your upper body. Close the eyes and lift up through your pelvic floor. And that's the perineum area. And then the navel just under your belly button lifts up, if you can. If you're new to this, then even just a little of that, move in that direction. But mostly the most important thing is that at the end, inhale deeply, is suspend the mind. So it's just for these few moments with the breath held in, suspended in, that you allow your mind to relax and be spacious. And that may not be easy at first, but we're just asking for 5-10 seconds. And then exhale. It's called concentrating the chi, concentrating the life force, and taking vata, which is motion energy. Sometimes it's not so easy to calm vata with just relaxing alone. Sometimes you have to meet her. And so you get into the energy, but you put it into a rhythm. And then you take an inhale, and you suspend the breath, and you suspend the mind. So the optic gaze rolls gently up and in between the eyebrows. They call it the third eye point, the Ajna chakra. Where the root of your nose meets your skull bone, you gently relax your attention, your awareness into that space. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath, suspend the mind, and draw your gaze relaxed into the area of the third eye space. Not trying to see anything or anything at all, just relaxing things there and allowing the life force intelligence to do its job by us getting out of the way, getting the mind and all its thoughts. Exhale to just suspend for a bit so we can work with the chi and the prana. Don't you think? It'll feel so lovely. Open the legs wide, like a V shape, and flex the feet. Be right on your sit bones. Inhale to the center. Turn to either side and exhale down. Inhale up to the center. Deep inhale, please. And then to the other side, fold forward, exhale. Don't worry about touching your toes. Worry about putting energy in your toes, flexing them, and slow down. This Ashwini eclipse energy wants us rushing deeper and slower. We'll speed up things once we kind of concentrate the energy a little bit. Right now, chill, open. Every inhale, make it deep. Creating rhythm, please. Close the eyes down and draw your gaze that third eye point, the master gland, pituitary, activated by you, putting your attention between the eyebrows where the root of your nose meets your skull bone, and then listen and put the breath in rhythm. It's two simple points of focus. It's not so much more complicated than that. Fundamentals. Now to the center, inhale deeply. And then hinge forward to the center. And just tuck the chin, extend out through your heart and crown. Relax and shake your legs out and come back cross-legged. Now check it out. Hands on your shin or ankles if you're on a chair, hands on your lap. It's a lifting of your sternum. As the sit bones press down, your sternum lifts up like this. To this rhythm, please.
once you establish the movement and the rhythm, just the best you can. Just do it like you can today. Nam, sat, nam, sat. Then ride the rhythm and forget about the technicalities. Get inside your breath rhythm. Get inside the body rhythm. Move the energy in a meditative, hypnotic state. Third eye comes the gaze. Now deeper the breath, please. Nam, sit, nam, sit, nam, sit, nam, sit, nam, sit, nam, sit, nam, sit. Deeper the breath now, please. Now continue. Bring your hands to your knees. Hands back to the ankles. Now to the center, your deepest inhale. Suspend the breath, suspend the mind, third eye gaze. Then exhale. You see? Hands come to your shoulders like this. Yeah, right on your sit bones, chest lifted, shoulder blades release, pelvic floor lifted if you can. Give it a try. Inhale left, exhale right. It's opening the spine, it's opening the spinal system. It's making energy move through the central nervous system. It's putting it in rhythm. It's giving a vitality to the system. It's taking the energy of Vata and turning it into prana, turning it into vital force, turning it into intelligence. When we're out of rhythm, intelligence fails. So by putting ourselves into rhythm is giving strength to the natural innate intelligence of the body. All the organs will feel it. All the tissue layers will feel it. To the center, inhale deep. Now suspend the breath. Lift the pelvic floor, third eye is the gaze, spacious of the mind. Exhale. Bring your hands back to the knees. It's going from the base of the spine up. When you're here, spinal flexes, hands on the ankles, lumbar spinal area. When you go here on the knees, it goes a bit up. When you go here, upper spine, then hands on the knees. Inhale, squeeze up, exhale, release. Then seconds. Every exhale, let the tension release. Inhale, squeeze up.
Squeeze out some tensions and relax. Amazing. Keep your heart lifted high. Relax your eyes down. Relax your mind and just a very gentle neck rolls. Relax your jaw, relax your tongue. Relax all your aspirations to achieve. Relax all your insecurities. Just for a moment. We'll welcome them back shortly. Other direction. For now, it's just to relax and allow things to be just as they are as best as we can. That means allowing ourselves to be just as we are, best as we can. Everything included. All our neuroses. Is really the parts of us that when we don't need to get rid of them, as after all, it's kind of what makes us cute. Inhale to the center, then exhale. But we certainly don't want them having excess of real estate in our life, you know? That's all it is. So when you're concentrating life force in the center, now that all of that energy that was kind of being eaten up by the worrying tendencies, the insecurity tendencies, those have lost some of their electricity, some of their magnetism. It's not that they're gone, extinguished. Sometimes you still feel insecure, but it's no longer dominating the show, you know? That's what I mean. Then he says it's cute. Now, all that energy that was used to be eaten up by that, now it's well centered in the system. That's vitality. Now your organs are flourishing more. You're aging more slowly. As that's Ayurveda is, really. It's, in a certain way, it's anti-aging, but not because we're worried about getting old, but because we appreciate life. So it's like every moment is precious. What an opportunity. What a glorious time to be alive. Like that. Again, index finger to thumb. Inhale. Follow me, okay? Try that breath through the nose. Inhale deep. Exhale. Inhale. Try. It can be very light. But if you hit the rhythm, it'll get deep. Inhale. Exhale. We're getting somewhere. Inhale. Suspend the breath now. Pelvic floor lifted. Third eye comes the gaze. Suspension of the breath. Amazing. Exhale. If you feel some agitation, that's totally normal. Little bits of agitation or resistance or a little bit of aggravation, I find is kind of par for the course in this type of like eclipse energy and then working with it. You know, at any point you need to relax, lay down, take care of yourself. By all means do that. But that's a little different from the more subconscious irritations that come up when you start working with your chi, with your prana and meditating. Because that's what we're trying to get our mind to concentrate in a more singular direction so that the life force centers itself. So then the mind reacts, the subconscious and all these patterns reacts to that because it doesn't want to lose charge. And all of a sudden here comes this other force that's saying, focus here. Come on your back. Come on your back. Just a couple of these because, wow, I think it'll help us. Nicole can demonstrate a stretch pose. You'll, in a moment, inhale and the legs and the head come up 6 inches. And that breath we're using, you're moving the navel point because of all the 72,000 nervous center channels, subtle channels through which your life force moves. They all are beginning just below your belly button at the navel point. And that's why it's your digestive center, your vitality center, the center of your power. Any martial artist can tell you this is where all the power comes from. Okay? That's what we're trying to strengthen here. Inhale deep. Exhale completely. Inhale, come in the posture. Inhale deep. Draw your pelvic floor in and draw the navel point in and relax. Take a deep inhale. Fully exhale. Take a deep inhale. Fully exhale. Take a deep inhale. Totally exhale. Come into the posture again. Now use the breath powerfully. Keep the mind relaxed as best as you can by putting it in rhythm, but make the breath very rhythmically deep. Seconds. Inhale deep. Draw the whole pelvic floor in, and then the navel deep so it shakes. Draw it in so it shakes. Relax. Oh, if that's very difficult, just do it a little bit each week in the Life Force Academy. And just check it out in 2 weeks. Energy circulating, you feel so good. Your body is feeling good, looking good. You're happy about it. It's totally worth it. Get the vital energy center of the navel. Always staying strong. This is the willpower of our life. And if we want to choose to be happy and choose to feel joyful, this is the center we need, very strong. Hug the knees to the chest. And then inhale, bring the nose up to the knees. This is release the vata in the body by relaxing the shoulder blades down. Inhale deeply. And move the navel in the position. Seconds, put the navel in a rhythm. Inhale, now squeeze up, and relax. Bravo. It's very good. It's creating a little tension, creating a little energy to release the tension, to center the energy. It's meeting it, it's bringing it up. Okay, it's being brought up anyways. The sun is being eclipsed. Hug the knees to the chest. Sometimes it's nice to move the body. Sometimes it's nice to strengthen the electromagnetism. That's what we're doing.
Okay, come on up. Arms are up 60 degrees. You're sitting on the sit bones, probably using a cushion to assist you. And you bring the arms up 60 degrees. Release the shoulder blades, elongate the arms. Thumbs are out, fingers are tucked in, okay? Like it, pads of your fingertips connect to the pads of the palms, just like you're connecting an electrical circuit, which more or less you are. Stretch the thumbs away, ahankara, and then you open up like that. Inhale deeply to the rhythm. Now 3 minutes here is a bit of an ordeal if you're not used to it, but just do your best. Within these 3 minutes, there'll be a time where maybe it feels like you would rather the exercise have already ended. If possible, keep the rhythm of the breath going. If possible, keep the arms at the 60-degree angle. And if possible, please keep the inner gaze where the root of the nose meets the skull bone. And draw your awareness there. Then go inside the rhythm. Listen. Rhythm. Rhythm. And it's charging up the aura, charging the magnetism. It'll feel so good. It's worth the difficulty. Straighten through the arms, if possible. Over halfway there. I knew that may not have come across as the greatest news, but it's the reality. See if maybe you can feel that your navel has entered the rhythm section. Put it in there. It'll make the whole body be charged with good energy. Notice how maybe the mind is protesting the idea of cooperating in this whole endeavor of ours. It's called watching the waves of the mind and let them pass and back to the rhythm. Let them pass back to the rhythm and go. Seconds. Visualize like a beautiful arc of light connecting the two thumbs. Deeper the rhythm, more brilliant it becomes. Like the central channel of your spine, like a beam, pillar of light, the brilliance of intelligence, of emanating a warm field of loving kindness in all the directions. See if you can visualize and feel that. Final moments. Inhale. Thumb tips come touching. Stretch up through the fingertips. Hold the position here. Exhale. Now your deepest inhale. Fingers tight like steel. Lift your pelvic floor, rectum, sex organ, navel, shoulder blades. Release. Touch the ceiling. Fingertips. Inhale some more. Touch the ceiling, please. Relax. Sweep the arms. Have some water, my friends. Sometimes you have to go through some mud to get to the medicine, isn't it? So that's a little bit of traveling. It's really kind of purifying the density of the subtle system and the physical system as well, but just in baby steps. Yeah. This next part, your hands are up like this. And here's what's going to happen. Your mouth is in an O shape. If you haven't already, it's important to drink some water before this exercise. You're going to inhale. Left hand comes on top of the right above your head. And then you exhale back. And it goes to the rhythm, okay? So it's look like this. Puckered O-shaped mouth. And with every exhale, draw your navel in. With every inhale, let's fill the body with some prana. It's called clarifying the subtle body. It works best if the eyes are closed. Third eye gaze. And you stay on the rhythm. Now deeper the inhales. Go. There. Rounded, puckered lips. As difficult as it is, that deep goes the breath. Last little bit, third eye gaze. Rhythm. Deeper. 10 seconds. Inhale. Interlock your hands above your head. Stretch up to the sky.
hands. Create space between your vertebrae. Stretch up as tall as possible. No bend in your elbows. Interlock your hands. Stretch up. And hold the posture through the mouth like a cannon. Exhale. Inhale deeply. Extend up. Make your knuckles touch the ceiling. Pelvic floor lifted. Open the spine. Exhale. Last time, final time, deepest inhale. After this one, you lay down. Stretch up. And relax. And please relax onto your backs. Those of you at home, please relax on your backs. If you're not somewhere where you can lie on your back, just wherever you can, just relax in your chair. But it's very important now for the next 5 to 7 minutes to totally relax and let all that strong energy that we are centering, let it center itself in the body. Let it center itself in all the cells. Let's let our bodies and our minds be nourished. Let your arms out some. Let your jaw relax. Your legs out some. Your tongue relax. Your tongue is intertwined in with your central nervous system. So if you relax the tongue, it helps deeper things relax, relax, relax. Just let the sound wash over you and go to sleep. wrists and your ankles. Rub the palms, make some heat. Rub the soles of the feet, make some heat. And then cat stretch to each side. And hug the knees to the chest. Come on up, rock and roll a couple of times. And come into meditative position. Your right hand presses against your left hand. Both palms are facing the body. Your right hand presses against the back of the left hand, and the thumb tips touch. Your right hand presses against the back of your left hand closest to the body. Thumb tips touch. You hold it in front of your heart center with the forearms parallel to the ground, elbows out. You lift through your pelvic floor. You release your shoulder blades, and if you can, lift and soften your chest. Chin is ever so slightly in. Eyes closed, relaxed into the third eye space. And just for a moment, hold the position like this. It's very beautiful, it's very regal, and see if you can hold it that way. These kriyas, it's creating a magnetic field. The more still and steady you can remain in the posture, the more the prana can do its magic, its work. As you hold this, now you feel the magnetic center of your heart through your hands. You might feel it on the center of your chest. If you can't feel anything, just imagine. Use your creativity for now. And take a deep inhale through the nose. And suspend the breath. And think of those out there and all through the world, living beings, people, animals, and how much that people are wishing for happy, how much people are so dearly suffering. Exhale through the nose. And inhaling deeply. And once again, feeling that deep urge of happiness, that deep wish to be released from suffering. And it's like turning the body and the mind, exhale, into an instrument, into a vehicle that helps happiness and joy in the world. That is an instrument for the creative purposefulness of life. Inhaling deeply. And with that same feeling, suspend the breath and bring the mind now just into spacious third eye gaze. It might be like you're looking over a spacious ocean or sunset. And then exhale the breath through the nose. And push all the breath out. Now keep the breath out for a few moments. And then deeply inhale. And suspend the breath in and come into perfect stillness, spaciousness best you can. And then when you need to, simply through your nose, exhale and push all the breath out. And keep the breath held out for a few moments, up to 15 seconds, and then inhale again. Suspension, exhale, suspension out. And for the next few minutes, continue that process. Inhale, suspending in, spacious of the mind, relaxed of the mind. Exhale, push the breath out. Suspend it out, spacious of the mind. Inhale, and continue. meditating with this beautiful mantra to help harmonize the eclipse energy and to help uplift the prana, uplift the heart, and continue. Chest lifted, shoulder blades released, heart softened. Third eye gaze. Continue to feel the magnetism of the heart center, center of the chest. Suspending on the inhale, suspending out on the exhale. And as the waves of the mind come, let them come without grasping, without pushing away. And continue the focus into the prana, into the breath, into the third eye gaze. And then from there, just let the process happen. Final moments. Concentrate. exhale the breath. Hold the position steady, inhale deep. And keep the breath suspended, spacious of the mind, totally still, body and mind. Hold the position, exhale. Inhale deep. Lift the pelvic floor, suspension of the mind, suspension of the breath, totally still in the posture. Hold the position through your nose, exhale. Then please inhale deeply. Suspend, spacious, still. And slowly, slowly relax. And just for a moment, take the hands of a prayer pose. It's a posture of neutralizing the psyche so that we can dwell in the space of our hearts and give a good wish for your life in this special time, and a good wish for your loved ones. Whatever is most in your heart, please give a beautiful wish. You can even put it in the sound. Let the sound carry it into the cosmos. Satnam, relax. Take your arms like this and just shake them a little bit. We use that meditation in the Ayurveda training specifically for taking the Vata energy and starting to center, balancing nervous energies, worrying energies, because this is the mind's tendency, especially if a person has Vata constitution. That's always, of course, the starting point. So I think everybody did a beautiful job. I can feel it all of it, everywhere. And even just trying this stuff is a beautiful job, really. There's nothing else to it. I mean, there's a lot else to it if you want to learn, but in terms of just the simplicity of it, for me, things always need to be practical. And in order for things to be practical, they need to be quite simple, because we have complicated lives. So really, the most simple thing in my life is my spiritual practice, my yoga practice. It's all simple. There's no real question about it for me, but that's taken some time. First, we have to learn it. And the glorious thing about Ayurveda, which I didn't realize when over 20 years ago I moved out to California to formally study Ayurveda. I'd been working with it already some years because I got very sick as a teenager. And I was looking at nothing the medical community was able to help me with was working, and so eventually it led me to Kundalini Yoga and then led me to Ayurveda. And so here still I am, and what I didn't know that Ayurveda would do is it would teach me really what yoga really is, and it would teach me the kind of the whole backbone of the thing, because they are of the same tree. They're two limbs of the same tree. And so what that means is it's a study of the architecture of the mind. It's a study of the architecture of the tissue layers and the organs of the body. But the way that I think that's unique that we do it in Life Force Academy, its primary context is yogic context. So yes, it's a healing system, but it's for everyday people. It's not a course that's training people to become practitioners of it. It's training everyday people on how to use it in their life so we can be happier. How do you get this organism content enough so its energy doesn't try to get contentment outside of you? That's the key. That's the goal. Is that how do you generate enough energy and vitality for the body and the mind so it doesn't have it doesn't have to follow its impulse about going outward to find satisfaction. And the more we do that, the more smooth life becomes, because the more vital energy we have access to. It's like tapping a reservoir of vitality. And so when you combine that with Kundalini Yoga, now as you're using the herbs, you're using the foods, you're using the da, and you're using the kriyas. So every module is teaching you new meditations to do in order to work with that energy. So you'll discover, if you're a Vata person, you'll know, and especially like this, a Vata person, an eclipse time happening, you'll know how to take care of yourself and be ahead of it, and it won't be a big deal. Because you know how the waves of the rhythms of the energies work. Simple, like that. You know if you're Pitta person and it's the summertime, in particular this and that's happening, you know how to take care of that. And that's just the starting point, really, because then what ends up happening is it gets you this kind of entryway, this access point into understanding and appreciating your true nature. That's what Ayurveda all is how do you be in harmony with nature, but starting with this body and mind is an expression of nature, just as much as every little wildflower I went to see this weekend is an expression of nature. My body is also that, and it's just as spectacular. And so then that's why it's the end goal, they say in Ayurveda, the process of Ayurveda is to create ojas. What is ojas? Ojas is that which gives the body intelligence. Ojas is that which makes the mind happy, which gives a glow to the skin and to the eyes, which gives someone a happy, nice presence that it feels nice to be around. It's the intelligence. It gives the body the container so the intelligence can help the organs operate in a more ideal way, etc. When there's lack of ojas, there's a tendency to get sick and sick and sick. There's a tendency to have more dissatisfaction, the stronger odor to the body, a more dullness to the body, an odor to the breath. So you can't point to one thing that is ojas in the body, but you can point to what it looks like when it's there, and you can point to what it looks like when it's not there. And people have been practicing this and doing this for over 5,000 years. It stands the test of time. It transcends diets and fads because it's principles of nature. That's how it is. Studying Ayurveda is also studying cosmology. And it's fun, and it's mystic, but it's also really supremely practical. So many of you know we have a new group going through our Ayurveda course. It's the most popular course Life Force Academy has. There's been many versions over the years, and I really love this current one that's running. And it's the most comprehensive and extensive course we have as well. But it's for everybody. It's not some huge commitment of study. It's an hour or so a week going through 10 modules. And you can do it at any time. You can do it at your own pace. With this eclipse right now, there can be a tendency to go too quick, to rush, and to do things. So just be mindful of that over the next couple of days, especially when situations where you might be in a car or something like that. Chill, relax, slow. I've been telling myself this a lot in the last couple of days. So because you might have somewhere to be. Anyways, I hope where you have to be is in the Ayurveda course. And and if you feel inspired to be a part of it, you can, again, if you have lifetime access to it with all our courses. And furthermore, if you get the courses and for any reason you get in there and you decide, this wasn't for me after all, just email us. Email our team. They send you a refund as long as it's within 60 days. We stand by it. And the whole idea is that they're helpful and that like you're super happy about it. And I think you will be, because these are fun. If you like this type of thing, this course, though, taking a deeper study. That then when you do a little bit, you spend a few weeks studying something like this. It's not just intellectual study, it's also experiential. But you're going to learn the art of it and the science of it, the science of the elements, the science of the herbs and the foods and the seasons and the rhythms of life and the different seasons of one's life and so forth. But you're also going to be working with those things to kind of experience them and bring yourself into a state of balance. And then out of that, be able to have the understanding of how to, over time, continue to grow your vitality. Because to understand the principles of Ayurveda at first is to bring oneself into a state of greater equilibrium with less dis-ease. But then in the long term, what it is understanding one's nature so that you are actively maintaining and building vitality as opposed to preventing or reducing symptoms. So anyways, It's very fun. It's practical. Most of everything you need for it is already in your kitchen, and it's a really great discovery. And so everybody's welcome. It's a great sale right now. If you can't do the Ayurveda course, or you don't want to do the Ayurveda course, but you want to do more like this, make sure you're a member of the Life Force Academy. We're doing these types of classes every single week. There's whole libraries of Kundalini Yoga practices in Life Force Academies. There's live classes I'm teaching each week just like this. You can do live or you can do them on demand. There's so many practices that we have. Oh, I just want to do this practice for the Wake Up series. Oh, I just want to do this meditation like this. Take 15 minutes, just push play. The music will carry you through it. The instructions will guide you, and you'll feel good. Go on with your day. So that's only $1 to try it out. Or you can do, and then it's $25 a month. Or if you do the annual subscription, it's only $19 a month. So it's a really good deal, especially, you'll see when you get in there if you've never experienced it before. And then our team has also bundled all that together, and it's a really good price. So you can see all of that on your webpage here. The course is on a great sale right now, the Ayurveda course. It expires in a few days here. And so if you get in now, it's a great deal, and you can take it, either begin right away, or you can take it when you're ready. Either way, I hope everybody had a beautiful experience tonight, and I'm wishing you a very happy eclipse season. 2 weeks from now, we're going to have another one, of course, and it's going to be a lunar eclipse happening in Libra Vishaka Nakshatra. Is everybody ready for that one? We're just still in the middle of the solar eclipse, but all of it's a rhythm, and it's hitting the domains in our life that are 180 degrees away from each other in the sky. So there's a balancing act that's happening with these two eclipses in two important domains of your life. Anyways, thank you everybody. Satnam. Wishing you all the best, love and health and happiness to everybody and to your families and to all the beings across the whole. As far as beings go, may that be the distance of our good wishes. Okay, good night, everybody.
The teachings in the complete course of Ayurveda informed me about myself, gave me a deeper understanding and a deeper love for who I am, how I'm made.
The most impactful part of the complete course of Ayurveda for me was really going in depth with the doshas and then the tattvas. He goes to another level.
How really Ayurveda works from the cosmology of it and how it works with the yoga.
I found that course to be extremely comprehensive, very clear in the concepts.
The complete course of Ayurveda was a wonderful teaching.
What is going to help me to feel more vibrant and more alive and just better all the time.
I'm always learning from it. The way Jaidev explains things to me made a lot of sense. I don't like to do things out of the blue just because somebody says so. And the teachings are very profound from my perspective, and it resonated with me.
As a family nurse practitioner, I have considered going the Ayurvedic route. And so for me, it was really nice to have this information at my fingertips.
And he really has this way of bringing it to the average person.
And I can apply it to my life. I currently take Triphala and Ashwagandha.
It's worth it. The education is unparalleled to what's out there.
I've only gone through it once, and I feel like I need to go through it several times again and reread my notes. This is so much information. But I started changing my eating and eating for my season and my body type. And so that's really changed some things for me from a health perspective as well. I'm very excited about digging deeper.
but you're wired somehow. You have a certain way of existing that is absolutely natural and skillful for you. You're talented in that way. It's how your heart expresses itself. It's how you get inside of love, and how love expresses itself uniquely through you.
If you have a mind,
You have a mission.
If you have a mind,
You have a mission. If you have a mind,
You have a mission.